What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trade Decoded. It is April 10th, 2025. And man, is this the new norm? I don't know. I mean, for the foreseeable future, it is. But think about what we've seen this week alone, guys. We've had a $40 plus range on Monday or Tuesday, whichever what it was, over a $50 range on SPY on Wednesday. And today we're pushing near a $25 range on SPY. Absolutely insane moves. However, these candles are massive. They don't look like it because, well, we're looking at charts and having to squish things down to keep price action within view. The candles that we're seeing in both directions, the size of them, we're talking, it's common now this whole week to see $2, $3, $4, sometimes $5 candles in one minute print. Insanity. Things are super expensive. Things are very volatile. And is this the new norm? It's going to be a temporary norm, right? That the market's looking for guidance, and every new headline, every new tweet, every new, hedge fund guy who comes out and says something, every new news station that posts something is going to make the market react violently in many cases. And that is why you don't want to be holding onto your trades for too long, because not only is it super expensive to play right now, it could very easily go against you very, very quickly. Now, today we had a fantastic day in the markets. Started to look much, much better a little bit later in the day, but I'll show you what trade we took in the morning, and then we'll go over the trades that ended up being much, much better trades that I wish I would have waited for, but I don't have that kind of patience. So let's take a look at the charts. Let me hide this because we don't need it. But what we were looking for today, we drew put lines like we always do and call lines. My call line on the Q was above 457. We never even came close to it. My put line on the Qs was below 454.31. We were looking for that move to come down to the orange line. Unfortunately, it did exactly that before pre-market. So a lot of my futures traders got to make their money before market even opened today. However, that also made it so that I couldn't play puts at the open because I told everybody, well, we're below the line I would have felt comfortable playing. So we either have to do one of two things. We either got to get below the orange line here and look for the next support down, or, which happened after open, or I want to buy a pullback to resistance. Okay. Now, as we held support here, this orange line, we never got through it. We did pull back. Now, I didn't know this was going to be resistance yet because for me on this chart, resistance existed way up here. So at first I was looking for that. It ended up holding and we moved all the way down, got through our orange line straight down to our support level. That all happened. Some people took that trade, not up here, but as we were breaching that line because ADD was printing red. And as long as you're aiming for the next support down, which again, doesn't look like a long way, but we went from 453.11 down to 452.44. That is a 50+ cent move. That's a good amount of money in a short period of time. Again, these candles are massive, guys. Okay. Once we found support there, we pulled back and hit that resistance again. ADD still printing red. SPY struggling to move higher. Told everybody, guys, this is a strong resistance here. Didn't know it at first. I know it now. And we're in a channel, a playable channel. So I'm going to buy my puts up here at resistance, and I'm going to hope that we get back down to that double bottom, same support. Now, admittedly, it was a rough ride to get there, but ultimately we got down to where we wanted to go, where we stopped again for the third time, fourth time as well. This one was the third time. We had an alert set there. The beep went off. I got out of the trade. It was a 19% win, which on a day like today is a big win dollar-wise. So I'm happy. But we drew this red box up here. I said, guys, because people were, well, Jimmy, when would you want to play calls? I said, listen, look left, okay? When we clear, if we can get above this area here of known solid selling, then maybe we can look for a move up to this resistance here. Until then, I wouldn't touch calls with a 10-foot pole, okay? Unless you're buying them on support and selling them at resistance. Same reason we were looking to buy puts here and sell them on support. So we ended up holding that resistance pretty strong, got through support, made it down to the next resistance, which basically, these lines here are 50% retracements. And I want to show you guys this because it's pretty wild how often a 50% retracement works out. And well, you'll see. Okay. But anyway, we pull back up to that red area again. No touchy. Got close to getting above it, but we didn't. And then we pulled back significantly, started to put in lower highs for the first time because these here were just a resistance and no lower highs. And then this was no lower high was put in on the way down to here. And no higher lows on the way up. So we didn't have a trend yet. But once we started to move down, we put in a lower high here, which means we're more likely to break support. Came back, retested that resistance, still in a downtrend, looking for the same support down. So we did have some people buy the trend line here or buy resistance here. Again, check your ADD, check your SPY chart. If they're both at resistance at the same time, you take the trade looking first for the first support down, which would have been right here at this time. It touched it 1.5 minutes after the resistance got hit. But same rules as we always look for, guys. If we're in a downtrend or in a wedge, you want to wait for a break of the wedge high or low. If we break the wedge low, you also want to get through support. And as long as there's room to go to the next support, you take the trade. Well, in this case, we broke the wedge and we were almost on support. So there's no entry here. If we would have broke the wedge to the upside, we would have wanted to take out this resistance here, aiming for the next one up. Okay, which is exactly the trade we found after we got out of the downtrend. Okay, we closed above the downtrend line at 10:15. Very simple rules. Puts are no longer a choice. Doesn't mean to jump into calls either. Our rules are we break the downtrend, puts are off the table. Calls go on when we cross resistance as long as there's room to make it to the next resistance. That's it. Super simple rules. Take a look at ADD before you jump into anything, especially if you're an aggressive trader. We break the downtrend line with a close above. Puts don't come back on the table until we regain a downtrend, i.e. break or the most recent support. Okay, but we broke resistance. Okay, coming off of higher lows. So what are we expecting? That we're going to break resistance. So you could have gotten in a little early. You could have waited until we cracked it here. But simple fact of the matter is we were looking for a 50-cent move to start with, which we got, and then some. ADD was still printing green at the time. So the next resistance up is this orange dotted line here. If we get through that, I had told everybody, hold on to it because it looks like ADD might carry us through, although ADD started to print red. But at the time we were here, we were still printing green. Next support up is, or resistance up is all the way up here. Now, we did start to print some smaller, thinner candles on ADD and started to print red. So we did have a lot of people take profits here. And we had some people stop out once we crossed or rejected up here. Okay, we never closed above resistance. Okay, and that's the key because if we close above it, then we assume we're going to go to the next one. So if your plan was to get in at resistance A, get out at resistance B, you got out 1.5 minutes after you got in. If you wanted to hang on a little longer because ADD still looked like it was justifiable, you held on a little bit longer, i.e. 2 minutes longer, and you made some extra money. This move from 450.84 to 451.99, that's $1.20. Okay, that's a very nice paying trade. We pull back. What do we make? A higher low. So for my people who were still interested in calls, which we called that out and said, hey, that's a higher low. We're more likely to break resistance this time. And where is it likely to go if we do? To the next resistance. And is exactly what we did. So again, excellent trade opportunity there for people who got into the trade. You would have gotten in only after this solidified as a higher low, which would have been at 1031. We also broke resistance at the same time. We ran to the next resistance. I told everybody, if you're holding onto your calls through this line, you better be careful, because the red box is a place that I wouldn't hold through. So we never made it up there, so it didn't matter. But we start putting in lower highs. Lower highs are bad for calls. Calls come off the table. What are we likely to do off of a lower high as far as support goes? Well, we're more likely to break support, which was right here at the time. The next support down was right here. So you would have entered this trade here, assuming support was going to break. ADD was printing red down to the next support, which would have been right here. Now you would have gotten out of that trade literally 1, 2, 3 minutes after you got in with a nice win. These are 30% wins, guys. Then we pull back. I called this one out. Guys, this is shaping up to be a lower high, which means we're more likely to break support. If we do, we'd be looking for the next support down, which is at 449.13. And if we get through that, the orange dotted line. Simple, easy to follow rules. Lower high means more pressure on support. We're likely to break it. The stop loss in this is the resistance that created the lower high. So we pulled back to it. Okay. ADD, again, at the time was printing red here. Everything looked good. We pulled back. Stop losses if we close back above that orange dotted line, which we made abundantly clear in the room. Otherwise, hang on. We're looking for the next support down, which is exactly where we ended up right here. And then if you wanted to hold for a little longer, and I did try and let people know, I'd probably hold on to this a little bit longer because ADD is still printing red and SPY had closed below support. I think there's a little bit more room to go. Once we got down to this support here, guys, I made it very clear. Rogue, if you're watching, I told you. I said, now, story's a little different. Both charts are now on support and ADD starting to print a green candle. I would sell out of my puts here. Now, I can't see the future, but 4 minutes later, we had pulled back at a point where I wouldn't have wanted to hold my puts any longer. That's for sure. You could have maximized your return simply by using these two indicators right here. I didn't need anything else to tell me that the move to the downside was temporarily slowing. Okay? I'm not trying to catch an entire day's move. I'm trying to catch the move that keeps me in the market for a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes max, terrifyingly, to get to the next support. And when we get to that support, if the things have changed that makes me feel comfortable holding onto those puts, then I'm not going to hold on to the puts, and you shouldn't either. Okay? The move from this orange dotted line to that orange dotted line is big enough to concern you. It's a $2.25 move. You don't want to be holding puts through a pullback like that. Okay? However, on the way back up, we talked about this trade and I called it out. When this candle was printing green right here at 11:09, I told everybody, I said, guys, be on the lookout. Qs and SPY are both at a level of resistance right now. If ADD starts printing red, this is a great opportunity for puts. A number of people took these puts right here. Was the cleanest trade of the day. And as we move down to these support levels, our first target was that $2.50 move we just talked about, down to here, $2.25. Not a single green candle be had. ADD was printing red the whole time. Everything looked good. When we got there, I said, guys, ADD's still moving down. SPY is looking good. Both charts are on support, so I could see taking profits here if you want, but ADD printing red. Let's see if momentum carries us through. I said if we close below 448.60, I'd be looking for 447.49. Over another dollar move. Once we got down to that line, I told everybody ADD's still looking good. Momentum's on our side. Let's hang on to this thing and continue down to the next support. And likewise, guys, we kept pointing out lower highs. Every time we get a lower high, we're more likely to break support and continue down to the next support. These are all great entries. And now here is the trade of the day. Trade of the day. Right here, we broke below. Now you see these orange dotted lines. These are 50% retracements, okay? Now, every time that there exists more than $1 range between any of my lines, I find the halfway point between them. But if these were not here, okay, let's just use this for just to show you how valuable 50% retracements are. The two known support levels on this chart for the Qs, this is from yesterday's run-up, was line A to line B. That is a $20 move, give or take. Okay, 423.41 to 444.18. $20 move. Halfway is $10. That's where this guy right here is, this orange dash line. Look at where this move stopped. Look at where it stopped. Right on the halfway point. Guys, if you're not plotting your 50% retracements between larger spaced support and resistance levels, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay? It held like a rock. It bounced off and it has recovered. It's trying to move all the way back up to the resistances, getting through a bunch of them. So just look left, guys. Just look left. If you want to know where we might struggle to start moving up or start moving down, look left. All the information you need to know is right there. If we get through a line, we look for the next one. If we get through that one, we look for the next, so on and so forth. Now, I know this video is a little bit longer, and for that, I apologize. But I got a lot to say because we're making a lot of money. In a market like this, if you know what you're doing and you don't overstay your welcome, you can make a small fortune in this market. And I am trying to teach people how to do it all day long. Now, all day, I mean up till 12 o'clock. I don't trade after 12 o'clock. People in my community don't like to be on the mic past 12 o'clock because they make most of their money in the early part of the day. Now, if you are somebody who cannot trade early in the morning, I apologize. It just doesn't work well for me after because of my own reasons. We won't get into that in this video because that's not what this is for. But if you are at all interested in learning how I find these trade setups, if you can't understand it through watching these videos, consider picking up my book. Okay, it's on Amazon. It also has an ebook version. It's $10. Check it out. It's a good read. I promise you. Even if you don't trade my strategy, I assure you that you will learn something helpful that will help you filter out trades that you should be skipping and considering trades that you may have otherwise skipped otherwise. Okay? Please consider getting the book. For my people that are not in my Discord community, I spend my day hoping to teach you how to achieve what not just myself, but several other people in our community have come to achieve, which is consistency in the market. Everybody wants to know how much money Jimmy makes, and that's not the point, guys. I don't want you chasing my numbers. I want you chasing my knowledge. My understanding of price action, support and resistance level produces a big percentage chance of winning. Okay? We don't like to hit home runs. Sometimes we get lucky. We take trades that turn into home runs, but the goal is to get consistency because without it, you'll never be able to do this for a living. And if you take smaller chunks, smaller pieces of the pie on a daily basis, your account will grow, but more importantly, your confidence will too. And with that confidence comes your ability to scale up. With that scaling up becomes larger wins when you win. Okay? There's a way to do this responsibly, and there's a way to treat it like a casino. I do not try to get you to treat it like a casino. It's a losing proposition. Fewer trades per day is going to make you a more profitable trader in the end. I promise. Okay? So please come in with an open mind. Listen to the things that we talk about. Watch the setups that we're looking for. Use your free week in its entirety. If you don't find what I share in there useful in any way, then don't spend any money there. But if you do, please understand that it's going to take longer than 30 days for you to get past your old habits, to break, whatever was keeping you from becoming profitable. You got to work on that. That takes time. It's going to take more than 30 days, right? So don't judge any community, whether it's good or bad, in the first 30 days, okay? It's not good to do because the first thing, as I told everybody in the community today, was I've got to break bad habits from people first, and then I got to get you comfortable trading a different strategy that you're not used to. Okay, that takes time. It takes time. Ask any trader who's tried to switch strategies. Too many people base whether it works or not on their first couple of trades. Okay, it works. I'm telling you it works because you can hear me, you can watch me, and you can ask the people in our community if it works. They'll tell you abundantly, yes, it works. The only time it doesn't work is when we don't implement it properly as traders. Okay, that's the part that takes time. And that's only happening because of bad habits and lack of discipline and emotions. So if you're interested in learning how to do this the right way, please give me some time, give me a chance, and I'll help you. Okay? First week is completely free. You don't have to put a single credit card information in. You literally show up. It starts the minute you join our server, and it will fall off automatically after 7 days. There's no harm, no foul for trying it out. And if you like what you get, consider becoming a paying member. If you don't, thanks for stopping in. I hope you walked away learning something you didn't know before. The links for our Discord community are down below. If you would like to share and subscribe to my channel, please do so. Click the little bell notification. I'm going to start doing some more videos. We're going to do some YouTube live videos coming Saturdays. Not this Saturday because I might be hungover. Tomorrow's my birthday and I don't know how I'm going to feel for Saturday morning. But nonetheless, that is something I'd like to do, where we will take a viewer's question or topic, and that will be the basis for our Saturday morning Let's Talk About It session. We'll only do it for about 30 minutes, max an hour. Where you guys can interact with me and I'll answer all questions you have or go over anything you guys want to go over pertaining to that subject for that weekend. And that's pretty much it. Check out my book. It's a good one. Whether you get the hardcover, paperback, or the ebook, they're all there available on Amazon. And I hope you all had a fantastic day in the markets today. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Just protect your capital. All right. Till tomorrow. I love you guys.